A lot done, but a lot left to do. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I am going to show you all of the books that are still on my TBR that are written by an Irish author. So it's somebody who was born in Ireland, who lives in Ireland, who has Irish ancestry. If they have an Irish passport, they qualify here. There aren't so many books here as there would have been on my favourite Irish authors video that I've just recently done, but I am still really excited to discover all of these. First up on the list is one that I have had on for a while, and I think it's kind of more of a seasonal book, so it is going to have to wait a little while, and that is All the Bad Apples by Moira Foley Doyle. I think this is Moira's third book, and it's the only one of hers that I have on my TBR so far. But I have also heard that The Accident Season by her is a fantastic book. I believe that this one is about kind of witchcraft and it feels very Halloween-y. So I think that this is one that I'm definitely going to have to read for October. But I have got a feeling that this has witchcraft in it and that's something that I really love reading. I have really enjoyed reading it in Perfectly Preventable Deaths by Deirdre Sullivan and in Other Words for Spoke by Sarah Maria Griffin, both of whom are also Irish authors. So this one is gonna finish off the trilogy for me. The next one on the list is one that I have a kind of a personal connection to, and it is Thanks Pennies by Valerie Loftus. So the kind of tepid personal connection is that Valerie and I went to DCU the same time. We were actually 1 year behind each other in classes. So Valerie is somebody that I would know quite well. We haven't really kept in touch in a long time, but I really loved seeing her name on this book, and I know for a fact Valerie has the kind of insider knowledge of pennies, which is what we would call Primark. And she also has the kind of sense of humor and the background in journalism that she is just going to absolutely knock this book out of the park. So from my understanding of it, it's just a kind of a love letter to Primark or pennies, however you're going to call it. And there are also some really fantastic illustrations in it by Kira, who goes by Kyriok on Twitter. The next one is the first of the tenuous links because this author wasn't born in Ireland, didn't grow up here, didn't go to school here, didn't go to university here, but does have Irish ancestry and does have an Irish passport, and it's Lucy Foley. These are two books that I have recently been sent by my dad. He absolutely adored them, and I have also seen The Hunting Party and The Guest List floating around on Twitter and on YouTube and on book Instagram. It's quite a lot actually in the last couple of months. So I have a feeling that I'm going to really enjoy them because I like kind of figuring out what happens by the end of a thriller, and if I haven't gotten to it, if I haven't figured out what's going on, I would see that as the mark of a really great thriller. And my dad has told me he figured out one, he didn't figure out the other, but he didn't tell me which one he had figured out. So let's see if I can beat him and figure out both of them, or be completely surprised by them both. The next one is If Only by Melanie Murphy, and this one is a slightly more tenuous college link. We did both go to DCU. I think she graduated a year or two before I did, but in the time that we were both there, I didn't meet her. I had never seen her around college. We didn't do the same degree. We weren't in the same kind of school. She did a more science degree, whereas I did a humanities. But I have been following Melanie for a while. I haven't read this book yet, obviously, but it is one that it caught my eye when I was in one of my favorite bookshops a couple of months ago. And I know I'm going to really enjoy this because it sounds like the kind of book that I'm really interested in. This book is about Erin, who is about to turn 30 and goes on a visit to Ireland, where her family are from, to visit her grandmother. And kind of while she's there, she does a kind of a what if only, kind of living with regret situation. And that is something that I really enjoy reading, kind of going down a different path as to how you are going down in life and what would have happened if you had done things differently. I really love seeing that in books, so I am very interested to see how it plays out here. The next book is kind of twinged with a sad story. So it's The Gift of Friends by Emma Hannigan, and this isn't the only book of Emma's that I have. I also have a copy of Letters to My Daughter on my Kindle that I also still haven't read. And the reason that I haven't picked this one up is Emma passed away from breast cancer in March of 2019. So that is something that's quite personal for me, and it's not something that I can easily read about or hear about at the moment. So I have a feeling that if I read this book, knowing that it is the absolute last book that she wrote, knowing that it's the absolute last thing that she ever did, It's probably going to open the floodgates in a way that I'm not ready for them to open yet, but I have heard some really great things about it. There are some really great Goodreads reviews of this, and it's definitely one that I'm going to have to pick up soon. And also letters to my daughter. Next one is a kind of similar vein in that it's another chick lit book, but it's one that I haven't read anything of the author by. And the main reason that I bought this one, not just because of the cover, not just because of the blurb, for the reason that it was released on my birthday. So this is The Restaurant by Roisin Meany, and I also have the anniversary and the birthday party somewhere floating around my house. I think I might have sent them to my mother, but this is the one that I have still in my house in Germany. I haven't read any of Roisin's books, but I do know that she is a really great author because I've seen quite a lot of reviews on NetGalley. I've seen quite a lot of reviews on the Storygraph and on Goodreads, and people who would have the same tastes in book as I do generally tend to enjoy Roisin Meany's books. So I don't know what's still holding me back and why I haven't gone for them yet. But if I ever do change my mind, this one is still on my shelves here. Finally is a book that's kind of in the mouth of the public at the moment because it has just been put on the long list for the Women's Prize for Fiction, and that is Exciting Times by Nisha Dolan. I have had this book for quite a while. I've had this since about when it came out. This book is about Ava, who has left Ireland at the age of 22 and is now in Hong Kong teaching English as a second language to the people there. And it's about her experiences living in Hong Kong, what it's like for her to live in a different culture, what the friendships that she makes there are like, and also she goes into a romantic relationship while she's there. I understand. I'm trying to go into this as blind as I can, but if this has been nominated on the Women's Prize for Fiction list, it is an absolute must read. And so those are all of the Irish authors that are still languishing on my TBR, but hopefully will be taken off of it by the end of 2021. What Irish authors are you still waiting to read, or who has been your favourite so far? Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up every week. Now, get on out of here.